Hello and welcome back with another video of Unreal Engine. My name is Hamid Salim and you are watching Unreal Nation. So this video is the remake video of my previous two videos, part 1 and part 2, because the audio quality was not too good in previous two videos. So this is the remake videos in which I will try my best to maintain a good sound quality as well, and I will cover each and every point that I have been covered in these two video series. So in these two video series I have created a third-person shooter character from scratch, and now in this video I am again going to start from an empty project and go through the third-person character. So first of all, let me double click and open up my Unreal Engine. So I have Unreal Engine latest version installed on my system, that is 4.27.2. So now here you can see I have created some project that is listed above. So but we are going to start from an empty one. So let me select the game and go to next, and empty blank project, next. Leave the project setting as it is, and let me change TPS to TPS third person shooter, the second attempt that we are recording, and create project. So that is the first interface that we have got after creating a blank project of Unreal Engine. So now first of all what we need is, this is, here you can see, first of all let me delete a sound, because sound is too much irritating when we play our project. Yes, that is the sound, and let me delete that and play. Here you can see I have a blank empty scene in which we have a no third person character. Now first of all I need a third person character, then we will convert our level to our third person. So for that, let's me minimize this engine and open up the Epic Game Launcher. This is the Epic Game Launcher. Go to Marketplace, and we need to add a basic animation starter pack that is provided by Epic Games for free. So we need to add some static mesh and some basic animation to our project. So in this you just select search for animation starter pack. Animation starter pack, here you can see here it's pop up. So first time you need to download it, and I have already downloaded, so I am just going to add to project. So here is a list, so I want to add these things in my TPS2 and add to project. It will take some seconds, and now when close this, and when I open my Unreal Engine in the content browser, here you can see we have an animation starter pack, and we have got all the basic things that we need in our third person character. Okay, now what we need is, now we need a class of our third person character so that we are going through for our character. So first of all let me add a folder, called it blueprints. So all the blueprints that I have created, I am going to place in the blueprint folder, and let me go with the blueprint class. When you select the blueprint class, it will ask us some options. So we need a character blueprints. A character is a type of pawn that includes the ability to walk around. So that exactly that we needed. Click the character, and I am going to rename it TPS2 underscore my ch. Double click, and now double click and open it up. Just manage the tabs, and here you can see it will provide a basic component. And on the left hand side, select the mesh, and we need to add the mesh for our character. So in the detail section we have a mesh section, and in the skeleton mesh we need to select this escape mannequin that comes up in this folder that we have added from the Epic Game Launcher. So now here you can see our character is not placed well. So for that we need some rotation and location. So in the location section, in the Z direction, just enter -90 and hit enter. Now here you can see it is placed in properly in capsule component, but we need, this is our forward vector that is showing up with a blue arrow. Now we need to change the rotation as well. In the rotation, just hit -90 again, and now we have got this. Compile it and save it. So now what we need is, we need a spring arm. So let me select our mesh character and add a component spring arm. Spring arm is added. I think we have put a wrong spring arm. Yes, let me delete that one and select the capsule component and add a spring arm. Here is the go. Select the capsule component. We are not going to add the spring arm to character mesh. We just add the spring arm to our capsule component. Here you can see, now you are going to select the spring arm and add a component camera. Oh, here we go. So compile and saved it. Now here you can see we have created a class. Let me drag and drop the class to our scene, and here you can see, but we don't want that. When we play this game, the character should automatically be spawned in our scene. So let me convert this level into a third person level. So for that we just need this, we need some modifications. So we don't need these things, so let me delete that one. Oh my god, it will delete the light component. Delete it. Now let me give some extra spice for our character. Let me delete that one, don't need that. Here we can. Now again give some room. Okay, now I am going to save this level. Save current as. Okay, now I am going to save that level and rename it tps2 underscore my level and hit save. Hit save. Now what we have to do is, we need a game mode. Right now the default game mode is playing, but we need our game mode that when we play that game mode, our scene should be created and our third person character should be spawned on that scene. So for now, let me go to blueprints and add another blueprint class, and under the list we have a game mode base. Let me select this one and rename it tps2 underscore my mode. Double click and open it up, and here you can see that we do not need any major modification in that one. So what we need is, here you can see a default pawn class. Let me select my class, that is tps2 my ch. Just compile and save it, and we have all done. Now what we need is, when we play the game, we need this game mode should be play, not this. So let me stop it. For that you need to go to setting and project setting, and under the project setting what you need is, in the project setting we have maps and modes on the left hand side. select this one, and here you can see the default game mode is selected by default. So let me go and select TPS2 my game mode and also my level. Okay, now when I have played this, here you can see we have our character successfully spawn in our game level. So now so far we have just created an empty project, we have converted to third person, and now our character is spawned into our game scene. Now we want some functionality that our character should move around this. So now if you want to add some inputs to our character, now we need some inputs. For example, if we're going to create some game on our Windows base, we need some inputs so that our character should follow these inputs from keyboard and move according to our instructions. So for that, just go to setting and project setting, and in the project settings on the left hand side you have seen in the engine section we have input. Click on the inputs, and on the first section named bindings we have two mappings called action mappings and axis mapping. So open up a new axis mapping, and first I am going to write it move forward and backward, move FB, and for move forward I am going to select the W key. Just minimize the gamepad, and under the keyboard we have select W key plus, and for move backward we are going to use S key, and here is the S key. Now the value should be negative, because when we are moving forward the value should be positive. When we are going to move on the reverse direction our value should be negative. Now I am going to add another axis mapping, and now for this I am going to use move left and right. For moving left we are going to use the A key, and the value should be negative because we are going on the reverse side. Now just plus again, and now for move right we need a D key. Here is the D key, and the value should be positive. So just remember these names, move FB and move LR, to implement the functionality for our character. Now go to content browser and open up my character blueprint class, and go to event graph, and now search for move FB, and here you can see we have added an axis event in our project setting name move FB, the same one we have got in our third person blueprints. And under the axis event select the move FB. Now also get the second one move LR and select that one too. Now the one question that is arise is in which direction our character should move. In the viewport section here you can see we have one component added camera. Now we need, when we click our inputs, our character should move according to this camera component. So now we are going to use this camera component, drag and drop and get camera. Now pick a word and search for get word rotation, and from this word rotation we need two things: get a forward vector to move forward and backward, and get a right vector to move left right. Now what we need is we need to add a movement to our component. Now let's right click and search for add movement input. Here is it. Just make an execution pin and axis value, and now for moving forward and backward just connect for the forward vector, and we have done with move forward and backward. And now copy the same one, give our execution var, and the axis value as well. And for the right vector, we are going to give this to our word direction. So far, so good. Let me compile and save that and execute our level. Here you can see when we click W, our character should move forward. When we click S, our character should move backward. A from the left and D for the right. Okay. Okay. Now, what we need next? Here you can see our character should move properly, but this is not exactly what we want. Now we want to add some animations. We want our character should move with animations. For that, what we need is, first of all, we need a blend space. Let me create it and let me tell you what the blend space is. First of all, just right click and go to the animation, and under animation go to blend space and select the skeleton and give the name tps2 underscore my blend space. Okay, open up the blend space, and when you have opened up your blend space, here you can see this interface is on the right. Now what we need is, on the left hand side on axis setting, what we need is maximize the horizontal axis and name this to speed. Minimum value 0, maximum value should be 300. And let's get note the change. Here you can see we have a define a horizontal axis. Now under this section, here you can see we have a y-axis and this x-axis. That in other words, we have a horizontal axis and we have a vertical axis. Here in the horizontal axis, we have defined this variable named speed, and you get this. And from minimum value we have defined 0 and maximum value 300. And here you can see we have a 0 for the minimum value and 300 for the maximum value. Now what we need is, when our speed is 0, our character should animate the idle animation. So let me search for the idle animation on the asset browser, and here you can see we have all these idle animation. So I am going to use the idle rifle hip and just drag and drop, and here you can see our character should in the idle position, because right now our speed value is 0. You just drag and drop this animation to this line because our value is 0 on this line. Now when speed should be the 300, our character should move forward and play the running animation. So for that I am going to search jog, and here you can see jog forward rifle. Just drag and drop to 300, and let's get the change. Check out the change. Now here is the green pointer that indicates the current value of our speed. Now when I move this to 300, check out the change. Our character should be in running animation, and when I back it to 0, our character should be idle. This is the main purpose of our blend space. Blend space, in the name you have just got the idea. It will blend the animation according to our speed. Blending the animation from idle to running animation by the speed from 0 to 300. Okay, so far so good. Let me save it and close this blend space. Now what we need is, we need an animation blueprints so that we will animate this character. So let me right click and animation blueprint. Click, and just don't worry about this parent class. We are going to implement all these in our latest videos, in our future videos. So just select this mannequin and select OK, and I'm going to give the name tps true underscore my enum. Click and double click and open it up, and here you can see this is the final output pose. And what we need is we are going to add a state machine over here. Add a state machine. Here you can see we have an add state machine and give this to final output pose. Now this is a box. You can see we have as after adding the state machine defines in which state our character should. Here is the entry state. So what we need when we are going to play, if our first entry is, let me add a state and give our this state to idle / run. When we are enter the game for first time, what states that our character should be? There are two possible conditions. The first one, our character should be in the idle one or should be in the running form. Let's just double click and open it up, and now I am going to use that blank space over here. Here you can see I have searched blank space and it will pop up this blank space that I have created previously. Let's double click and open it up and execute this one. And on that blank space, you have remember we have created a one variable that is speed. Now here you can see right now our speed is 0 and our character is in the rest position, is in the idle position, when our speed should be 300. Check it out. Here you can see our character is in the running form. Why? Because I have changed the speed to 300. Let me again go to 0. Now for now what we need is we need a speed value. For that, just go to event graph, and here is the two function that is right now engine is provided. This is our character, this one. So what we need is we need get velocity. Oh, here you can see. Now you know that velocity have are two things. One is the number and other is a vector. So what we need is we need a vector length to get our speed. Vector length. Okay. Now we have got this vector length, and that is actually our speed. Just give a y and promote to a variable and give that variable name as speed. So this variable is going to be increase or decrease when we are going to give the instruction on our keyboard. In other words, when we are press the WASW keys, this speed will increase from 0 to 300. So now for that we are going to set that one and check that is valid. First of all, we are going to check that our pawn is valid or not, and if it's valid, we are going to set the speed. So far so good. Let me compile and save that one and go to the idle and run state. And here you can see I am going to get this speed, same variable name speed, and going to this one, compile and save. So far so good. We have add a state machine, and under the state machine we have add a state in which our character should be in idle or run according to our this speed variable. Now what we need is I am going to check it out. Let me play, and here you can see now nothing is performing according to our implementation. So what we need is just go to third person blueprint class and click on the mesh. When you click on the mesh, and under the detail section of the right side, here you can see we have one tab that is the animation. And here you can see right now anim class is none. Just open it up and type your TPS to my enum that we have created TPS. Just compile and save, and now if I'll execute it, here you can see our character is in the idle position. When I am going to click the W, it will move forward, for move backward, for A and D. Right now it is not going to follow the direction and does not move a camera component when we are moving the mouse. Now what we need is, when we are going to move our mouse, our character camera should move according to our mouse. So for that we need two inputs, and again I am going to setting and project setting, and under the project setting go to input, and under the input let's add another one, and that is look up and down. Here you can see we have a look up and down, and for that we are going to use mouse Y. Sorry, here is the mouse Y, and let me add an other axis mapping, and now I am going to look left, right, and for that I am going to use mouse X. Okay, now we are going to implement these two functionality for our character. Let's go to content browser and open up our blueprint classes. Let me add, just select and press the C key and movement logics. Okay, now what we need is, we need look up and down and look left and right. Okay, so what we need is, for look up and down we have a one method that's called add controller pitch input. Add controller pitch input and drag this one. For look left and right we have another function that is called add controller yaw input, and just drag the value and compile and save it. Okay, now I am going to check it out. Here you can see our mouse inputs are working fine, but it is not working for up and down. So what we need is, for that we need 3 additional settings after implementing this. So just go to the content browser, and under the content browser open up our my ch blueprint classes, and first we need is, just click on character movement, and in the detail section just scroll down to movement section. Here you can see we have a character movement, and now we click the orient rotation to movement. Just clicked, compile and save. What we need now, we have to select our spring arm, and under the spring arm we are going to use this camera use pawn control rotation to checked. Compile and save. Third setting is, just select our TPS to my ch as a self and untick this use controller rotation yaw. Untick this. Now these are the 3 settings. Compile and saved it, and now if I'm going to play that, here you can see left right is also working, up and down is also working. Now you can also see when I have pressed W, the character is facing on the forward one and moving on the same direction, and when I click the W, it will moving according to our direction. Here you can see now our character is properly working and walk around in any direction in which we are going to click our input keys.